González, the former Spanish foreign minister, now is the Dean of Sciences at the Post School of International Affairs. She's with me now. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Richard.
You're not going to try and tell me that unity is still there. It is fraying.
Well, look, for Europe, Russia is existential. The war is in European soil. Ukraine is a European country. Russia is a European country. And frankly, if you look at with whom Russia trades, it trades with Europe. This is why what Europe does matters. And this is why Europe has been doing it the hard way, taking tough sanctions and doing it in unity.
But the big sanction was always going to be oil or gas, and they can't get agreement. I understand the reasons why, but you've got Viktor Orban being stubborn, you've got other countries saying that they can't afford to, and you've got Germany somewhere in the middle.
No, what you have is Europe moving forward with the decarbonization of its economy. Europe being more ambitious today than it was just 20 days ago or 2 months ago to decarbonize its economy and reduce its dependencies from Russian oil. Now, granted, we are not there yet, but yes, we are moving faster. And we have to do this carefully, bringing all European citizens along. And this is the debate that is taking place in Brussels.
As a former foreign minister and now sort of dean of a prestigious school, there was a lot of talk at Davos last week.
Yeah.
The Henry Kissinger comment. That it's now, and over the weekend, just talking to people around and about, it's starting to become prevalent, this idea of what is the price of peace, suing for peace. How worried are you?
Well, I think we have to be very clear about this, because the price we will put is the price we put to our freedom, our liberty and our democracy. And frankly speaking, it has a very high price. But would you just look around? So European citizens, I know the negatives would say, oh, you know, European citizens are getting tired and it's costing a lot and this is going to fray the European unity. For 22 years we've been hearing this lesson, and the four big crises that Europe has faced in the 22 years of this century has simply made Europe stronger. Yes, sometimes debates in Euro are agonizing, Richard. It's 27 EU member states, it's tough, but we end up taking the difficult decisions.
Fine. On the sanctions, maybe you will, but I'm talking about the big architecture, the big end game, if you will. Zelensky is terrified that Europe is, it says that they will, you know, it's up to Ukraine, but eventually, if Europe says, if the view percolates in Europe that he should give territory, do you think he should eventually?
I think Europeans should let Zelensky make that call. Europeans should not be the ones making that call. This is Ukraine's war. This is Ukrainian
men
and women fighting.
You're a realist. You know.
I am just simply saying that if we want democracy and freedom in Europe, we have to be behind Zelensky in this fight. It's as simple as this, Richard.
But what happens? I'm trying to just get to the point of what happens when Zelensky, when Europe comes back from its vacations. Inflation is very high, unemployment's starting to rise, and people start to put pressure and say, look, we're not continuing to provide money and arms and things just so you can prosecute a war. Start giving a territory. I'm not saying you should, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying what happens when it happens.
Well, what I would say is that Europe is not sitting still today waiting for the summer and for the after summer. We're taking measures today. We are pumping the EU's economy today. We are fighting inflation today. We are making sure that food that Vladimir Putin is holding in Ukraine can get to hungry people. We are making the necessary decisions to decarbonize our economy, and we are doing it now. We are not waiting for the autumn, because we know this is going to be a hard fight and we need to be prepared. So the measures are being taken yesterday, today, and they'll continue to be taken tomorrow.
You just said something in our discussion there, Arancha. Is this the worst crisis Europe has faced, do you think? The Union has faced. I mean, Brexit was one thing, the Dutch crisis was existential and another thing, but in terms of a crisis of war, is this the worst, do you think?
I think it is the worst, because it goes to the hardcore of what the European Union is. The European Union is a response to the war that we saw on our territory, First World War, Second World War. And this is what we built the European Union for, as a response to that, because we did not want that. We did not want power-based relations. We wanted the rule of law. And that's what's at stake today. It's not the West against the rest. It's those that love a rules-based international order versus those who just want the law of the jungle, and the strongest wins. We don't want that.
Dean, it is good to see you, ma'am.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Richard.
you so much. Good to
Good
see
to
you.
see
We'll
you.
talk more.
Sure.
Thank you very much.